Yeah, hopefully I get to cast with Darking again one day. I know, again, for those wondering, Darking actually works at Twitch. He started working at Twitch a couple of months ago, and because of that, he's been very busy with it, and he just hasn't had the opportunity to cast StarCraft in a while. He still runs the events whenever he can, but he's just been very busy throughout the week, and when the weekend hits, he's just tired. He's, you know, he's not young like he used to be a long time ago. Feels bad, man, feels bad. But here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have our Brazilian Protoss player representing Eximius Gaming. It is Shakti. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres, we have another Brazilian player, but he is a Zerg player representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is TheZergLord. Place your bets. Let's go. Who is gonna come out on top? Again, these are two very strong players in the Latin American scene. Either one of these players could be up against Ryu in the finals and could even win this entire tournament. But they are knocking each other out here in the lower bracket. Only one can advance forward. And they both have their own strengths and weaknesses. The ZergLord doesn't scout too often. I don't want to say he doesn't scout, period. He does scout, but like it's a weak point in his play, and sometimes he can get caught off guard. And that's kind of scary because Shakti, he's crazy, you know? Often he goes for things that aren't necessarily standard. So you need to know what he is doing, what he is up against. You need to know what you need, right? So I'm worried in that respect. On the other side of things, I would say that the ZergLord is probably the most aggressive Zerg player out of all the Zergs in Latin America. When I think of Jim Rising, Ryu, Cham, Eggs, I do think that the ZergLord is more unpredictable out of all of them. So he does have that going for him as well. When it comes to his aggression, especially in some of the other matchups like ZvZ and here in ZvP as well. So yeah, we'll see what comes out on top here in this series. As so far, the openers are looking pretty standard. We do have our hatch gas pool opening into a third hatchery. Shakti is going for his Stargate opening, but based off of how we saw him play against Ryu, this is most likely for Oracles, you know, first a Void Ray to clear things out and then go into triple Oracle. We'll see if he stays with that kind of style or if he goes into something else. As there we go, first Oracle is on the way. I'm sure we're going to be seeing more where this came from. I'm sure we're going to get 2 or 3. Oh boy. And I have to imagine that the ZergLord is familiar with this. Again, the Portuguese scene, I say Portuguese, the Brazilian scene is honestly really close to each other, and they often play against each other as well in their own tournaments. Oh my god, nice surround. One of the adepts already goes down. The second adept is going to go down as well. We do have a commitment into the shade, but it is not enough. Only one drone for 2 adepts. Very well done here for the ZergLord. Meanwhile, first Oracle is already on the way. Second one is in production. But yeah, what I was saying is that like these Brazilian players, they play each other incredibly often, so because of that, the ZergLord should be aware of this style. Should. And just like that, first Oracle gets across the map, already takes a lot of damage to all these queens, doesn't get a single drone. And this Overlord Scout is going to confirm that we have a second Oracle coming and a third Oracle on the way. So a great Overlord Scout here. The ZergLord should be getting some stack defense at his third base. It's all about queen positioning as well. He's got 2 in the main, 1 at the natural. And from here, Shakti throws down a robo. I imagine he wants to go into a robotics bay again. Meanwhile, Oracle dips in and gets one drone. Oh boy. And it does feel like the ZergLord, he's just always there when it comes to his queens, and he's just been able to see so much. But now we have 3 oracles, and it doesn't matter if you have queens, it doesn't matter if you have drones, sorry, spores. Drones will fall, and 3 drones go down. But one of the oracles already gets picked off. Like, so much power, so much of the threat of this oracle opener is already gone. So overall, I want to commend the ZergLord when it comes to how he has been able to defend overall. Like, he's been able to split up his queens as well, which is really great. He's got 2 in every single base. And so because of that, Shakti has been having a much harder time finding damage compared to Ryu, who always had his queens at his freshest base or spreading creep at the front. Oh my, and the ZergLord is going straight into a Spire. A very hidden Spire at that. I love it. Could he be looking to go into mutas? So far, it's been unscouted. And the Oracles, they're trying to find damage at the third. They're not scouting in the main. Mutas would be amazing right now, to be honest. Blink Stalkers are on the way, and Blink Stalkers can be a response to mutas. They're not the response to mutas, though. But what's important is that Shakti is looking to hit before mutas are even a thing. We have a War Prism on the way. We have a bit of a Gateway Explosion. Blink is still a long ways away, though. This is a bit of a weird timing. Oh my god, a massive Blink runway. No god, the War Prism doesn't finish. Oh, just barely the War Prism comes out. It was going to be devastating if it got delayed, but regardless, the Links are dealing a lot of damage. And they delay the push. The sentries. No, made 2 sentries go down for free. Essentially for free. Shakti, mate, he's falling apart. I mean, the push is finally coming across the map. What's important, though, is that this Ling run by, it didn't just delay the push, it scouted the push as well. The ZergLord, he's making roaches, making a couple of drones, which is a little bit ambitious, but regardless, he is focusing on his army for the most part. And he's gonna have more than enough to defend. He's up in supply, catches the army. The Biles, okay, there we go. The War Prism does unsiege, but mate, the ZergLord, he's having his way with Shakti right now. We have a Stasis Ward, it gets baited by a single Ling. Another Stasis. Doesn't even matter, it gets baited again. And now it is the ZergLord's turn to be aggressive here. He has +1 air attack on the way. Who even needs mutas? Right now it's just about the Roaches and the Ravagers. Okay, Shakti, he does defend. He does force this back for now. He is looking to go into his own splash damage. Going to be looking to, I imagine, get into Disruptors. He has a second Robo on the way for double Disruptor production. But I worry because the ZergLord is about to max out. He's 182 supply right now, and he's not stopping. Oh god, here we go. Another Stasis Ward goes off. Gets a decent connection there with 4 of those Roaches, but there's still so much more Roach Ravager where that came from. And he's just forcing his way through everything. Doesn't matter if the force fields are half decent. Where's the War Prism? Up, up. Okay, the Immortals are safe for now. They should be anyway. Puppy, please! Puppy, please! Immortal gets picked off! Oh my god. A bit of mismacro there from Shakti. And he loses 2 of his Immortals, and I feel like that could be it. Also, I'm surprised we have a Colossus on the way, not a Disruptor. I don't know if Colossus are what you need right now. As the Roach Ravager is forcing his way through, we do have an overcharge, so Shakti does hold on to his 3rd base, but the Roaches are getting into the natural. We have Ling reinforcements. 4th base is never going to finish. Roaches are going to be cleaned up by these slow lots. But again, there's still just so much Zerg. I kind of want the ZergLord to apply pressure here and take out the Cybercore. Oh my god, but he just goes for a massive run by. Overcharge was used earlier, remember? The Roach Ravager is going to buy some time, delay the rest of this army. It will eventually break through, but by the time it does, like the Lings, they're going to town at the 3rd. Ay, ay, ay. And now finally we have mutas on the way. 15 mutas in production. Mutas are going to be the nail in the coffin. 17 probes fall here at the third base. Finally, the Lings were able to deal with all of the sag defense and get some damage done. Shakti is going for a counterattack, but again, he doesn't have Phoenixes. He only has a handful of +1 Blink Stalkers. No Archons either. And do we have anything in the main or the natural? We have a single cannon in the main base. We have a single shield battery at the third. Nothing at the natural. The mutas are just going to have a field day. They're just going to do whatever they want. Look at him. What's going to stop him? Nothing. Oh, God. Yeah. What a game we've had here. What a game one. There we go. We have a cancel of the fourth base. Mutas dive into the main. Stalkers are not going to be enough. And this is it, mate. Truly is the Lord of the Zergs, you know? It's a bit of everything. GG gets called. The ZergLord takes game one. In a pretty dominating fashion. Like, especially compared to Shakti versus Ryu. Like, Shakti versus Ryu was much more intense and very close. But I think it comes down to the fact that, again, Shakti has kind of been playing the same game after game. And the ZergLord has a lot of experience, so... just the way that he split up his queens, the way that he defended against the oracles, the way that he was able to pull off all these Ling run-bys as well, like, the ZergLord was popping off, and the hidden Spire paid off in the end. To be fair, the Spire wasn't necessary. I do think the ZergLord, at that stage of the game, could have just remaxed with Roach Ravager and won anyway, but regardless, like, it was just a solid game. And Shakti, mate, he's got to shake it off because we know that he can do better. We know that he can execute better as well. But doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's, it's not going to work against the ZergLord. And here we go. We're diving into game 2. And it is going to be on Berlingrad. Oh my. Meanwhile, exclamation mark Funada Chaos Fade in the chat. Chaos SC. I see you there. I see you. And we were talking about how there were no Terran players left in the tournament. Speaking of, one of the best Terrans in Latin America is right there in the chat. Mate, why didn't you sign up today? What happened? Chaos Fade, ¿qué pasó? ¿Por qué no estás en el torneo? Mate, what's going on? Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. It would have been great to see Chaos Fate here in this tournament. Would have been great to have seen, like a solid Terran representation, but unfortunately, he's probably too busy, like drinking las chelas, you know, doing Chaos Fate things. And meanwhile, here in the bottom right, we have our Brazilian Protoss player, the last Protoss in the entire tournament. Can he do it for Ire? He's down in this series, but he is not out. Not yet. It is Shakti. And spawning in the top left, we have another Brazilian player, but a Zerg player instead, representing Amantes de StarCraft, currently up in this series, having some fun with some mutas in game 1. It is the ZergLord. And despite us being on Berlingrad, no 12 pool. Regular hatch gas pool opener here from the ZergLord. Pretty standard. And this is a bold map not to be vetoed. Not gonna lie. I do want to say that, like, ground toss can do well on a map like Berlingrad. But I don't want to see triple Oracle. I don't want to see it. I don't know, mate. I'm not convinced. I think we've seen it every single game. Not every game. Shakti did go he did go for a Twilight Council opener against Ryu one of the games. To be fair. But yeah, I wouldn't want to see triple Oracle again on this map. Maybe on a larger map, but on Berlingrad it feels so risky to do so, especially if your opponent deals with it as well as the ZergLord did in game 1. Uh-oh. But he does go for the Stargate. Is this for Oracles? I hope not. We'll see, we'll see. It's also possible that maybe Shakti is like, nah, mate, I know that I can execute that build better. I know that even if my opponent has their queens split up and has their spores, I can deal damage anyway, and I feel safe and sound with my triple Oracles. So yeah, we'll see what he decides to do here. We'll see. So far on the other side of the map, we still have our third base on the way. The ZergLord, nothing too crazy is coming out from him. He's just droning up, making queens. Everything that you would expect to see here in a ZvP. And there we have the Oracle. Okay, alright, Shakti, prove me wrong. Do it. Do it. Let's see him get some work done with these Oracles, because they left much to be desired in game 1. We'll see. Adepts, they shade in. Ooh. No link speed, and actually getting some drone kills here. 3, 4? 4 drones go down. Not bad for 2 Adepts. Very nice timing there, just before link speed finishes, and yeah, that's a good start. Here we go. First Oracle is also on the way. Spore is being thrown down, but honestly, it's not going to be done in time. Are the queens in position, though? That is what matters. Once again, we have 2 queens in each mineral line. Oracle shows up. Gets 1. Ooh, takes a little bit of damage, but at least escapes, and we'll be able to meet up with the second Oracle. Once again, the ZergLord goes in with his Overlord and he scouts the opener. He confirms that the second Oracle is on the way, and he will also confirm that the third is in production, just like the last game. But again, he's just got queens all over the place. Like, we'll see, we'll see. As, oh, Shakti goes straight into that Robo and Forge. Oracles try to find a way in, but there are now 3 queens here at the third base, so they don't find too much. The Forge is interesting. Obviously it's for upgrades, but the Twilight Council feels a little bit delayed. Go. Oracles commit. Oh god. Taking a lot of damage for a single drone. But now we have 3. And I'm really curious to see what Shakti's push is going to be looking like. Like, +1 makes sense, but without Blink or Charge, it feels a little bit lacking here. Oh my god, he actually decides to go for a queen. A little bit ambitious. And he loses an Oracle, a high health Oracle as well. Not the first Oracle that was low for him earlier. Oh god, Shakti, not like this. Not like this, puppy. And the ZergLord, mate, this is just copy paste from game one. Like his queen defense into a spire. Like this is just like game number 1. And again, now Shakti is down to 1 Oracle. And what's dangerous about having only 1 Oracle left? Sure, he got 3 drones. At least he dealt some damage. But now he has very limited energy for stasis wards, and I feel like that's something that he wants to hold on to, and I feel like that's kind of a crucial part of his defense later on. Meanwhile, here we go. Twilight Council's done. Blink is on the way. We have another scout though. All the gateways are confirmed, so the ZergLord knows for sure that it is going to be a ground-focused army. And again, there's just nothing really here set up for anything like Mutas. The Spire, it's done. It just finished up. Are we going to see a commitment? I mean, to be fair, the ZergLord did just see the army moving out. He is well aware that he needs everything on the ground first, and he can focus on the Mutas later, as +1 air attack is on the way. Here we go. Here comes a push. 2 Immortals, a decent amount of sentries, a decent amount of energy. Show me the force fields. Oh, so far they're looking decent, but oh, the Roach Ravager gets past it anyway. Oh my god, 2 sentries go down immediately. There's only 2 left, and only 1 really has energy, and that's it. Oh god, the War Prism! No! Unsiege! Please, puppy! Oh, the War Prism goes down, and that's the end of the aggression here for Shakti. Again, Blink wasn't even done. I mean, to be fair, the Blink Stalkers weren't a major part of that fight, but they could have been. It was just a little bit odd to me that +1 was prioritized over Blink, just because of how much versatility Blink has, how much map control you can gain with Blink as well. But Shakti, he's forced back. He's trying to get into double Colossus production. Again, I don't know if I like Colossus. Colossus are okay against Lings, but especially when you're up against Roach Ravager, like Disruptors can pop off, mate. They can do so much more. Meanwhile, quickly checking the vision. Spire still hasn't been scouted, by the way. Looking at the gas, we have a lot banked up, a lot of minerals, a lot of gas. The TheZergLord, he's getting ready for the mutas. He's just a little bit supply blocked. 4 overlords are popping out. As soon as these overlords are done, never mind, he makes more roaches. I was like, let's go, mutas, let's go. Show me the mutas. Show me the switch. We want to see it. To be fair, there are a lot of Blink Stalkers. There's an insane amount of Blink Stalkers. Ling Roach Ravager is the name of the game here for the TheZergLord. He's maxed out. He's ready to go. Still only 1 sentry? Man, he's crazy. Pushing out with a single sentry like this? Hey, calm down, Shakti. Calm down. I know Blink Stalkers they're mobile, but you don't want to be caught out like that. Oh no, the Biles connect with that 1 sentry, by the way. Oh my god, the Biles, they just keep connecting and they get the Colossus? That should never happen. The slow Banes waddle in, 14 probes go down. Shakti, please, not like this. He's falling apart a little bit. He was distracted, he was pulling probes away just as the Biles were connecting with his army. He does warp in another round of sentries, to be fair, and this will help. The problem is that they need time to gather energy. They're fresh sentries, for Christ's sake. And the TheZergLord is he's just waiting. Bailing speed. It just finishes. He's ready to receive. He's like, mate, come to me. And the problem is that if Shakti doesn't, then the TheZergLord, he can just go for more bailing run-bys. He can just... And there's not a lot here to defend this mineral line, let's be real. Like, we saw how much damage, like, slow Banes did. Speed Banes are gonna go insane. They gotta pop off, mate. Here we go. Okay, these ones are gonna be caught. But the army rotates around, and Shakti, he doesn't know. He sees nothing. There we go, he's there for the army. He does warp in at home. He does try and split up his probes, but again, the mineral line is going to go down. And the TheZergLord, he doesn't have to commit to the fight. He just backs off and he's content with the damage he's dealt. Meanwhile, Greater Spire, oh my god. Greater Spire is on the way for Broodlords. Looks like we're not going to be seeing mutas here. Again, it makes sense because of how many Blink Stalkers we have. Which again is a lot. Like, Shakti can still take a fight, to be fair. He's just waiting for the angle. Blinks on forward, takes out the Ravagers. Mate, this army is looking pretty scary. Not gonna lie, Bailings are rolling on forward. Show me the force fields. Force fields are a little bit late. Vials will connect, but the Blink Stalkers are standing strong. Like, Shakti is still trading incredibly well. And he blinks on forward and he takes out all of these Ravagers. And this is what's scary about Berlingrad. Like, the TheZergLord wants Shakti to waste time on a base, but Shakti doesn't care. He goes straight to the main. And I feel like he has done it. Roaches are coming out, but they are trickling out, and pure roach is not going to be enough. Sure, Greater Spire is done, but we didn't have any Corruptors. Oh, the Colossus are exposed though. Colossus? We're getting a full surround. 2 Colossus are going down immediately. Shakti, please. Unfortunately, like, his army wasn't in the best position, but doesn't matter. I think he still has enough. Just barely. Oh my god, that was a scary moment there, but GG gets called and Shakti takes it. He fights back. He puts a point on the board. Shakti may have been losing all these workers, but I mean, he was maxed out. He had a higher army supply. Unfortunately, the ZergLord was being a little bit greedy. Like, again, he was maxed out with Roach Ravager. Sure, he had a Greater Spire, but you need to slowly trade out your Roaches and get Corruptors and get Broodlords, right? That transition has to be there, and he didn't have it. He was kind of stuck with this clunky army, even though he had a bunch of tech behind it. He didn't have anything else. Like, he had a Hive. You know what that means? Could have had Vipers. Vipers would have changed everything. Vipers in that first engagement would have yoinked the Colossus. There would have been no answer to them, by the way. There was no High Templar for feedback. And if the Colossus were dead and we just had pure Blink Stalker against Lingbane Roach Ravager, like, hey, the ZergLord would have been fine. Just thinking too far ahead, I feel. Just a little bit too far ahead. And now, we have our ace match. Now things are kind of up in the air. Shakti showing us that, hey, he knows what he's doing. Even if he goes triple Oracle, and even if those 3 Oracles don't deal any damage, they're good enough, man. They're good enough. Alright, here we go. Diving into game number 2. No, sorry, game number 3. My mistake. Ace match. Let's go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss. He is blue, representing Eximius Gaming. And fighting back in this series, tying it up, taking it to the ace match, it is Shakti. And in the bottom right, we have the Zerg player representing Amantis StarCraft, dropping that last game, but still here in the ace match. It is the ZergLord. And again, he played well. He played incredibly well. Just fell into a trap. A trap that is so much more deadly on Berlingrad. Losing a fight on a map like Berlingrad, on Blackburn is the other one, is so much more devastating. It's so much more punishable because of the short rush distance. Like, you lose a fight and you saw that in a matter of seconds Shakti was in the natural base. Like, it doesn't take long to move out. So because of that, like, when you're stuck with Roach Ravager, it's an army that you want to slowly transition over time. And it can be difficult when you have an explosive battle like that, where you drop 50 plus supply, like, in one fight. Trying to remax, your remax is not going to pop out in time before your opponent is already in your face, already in your bases. So that was really well done by Shakti. Honestly, that was his only way to win. If he didn't do that, I feel like the ZergLord would have remaxed on Roaches, eventually gotten into Broodlords, and that would have been game. Oh my god, and Shakti's in his head right now. He's pretending the cannon rush. There's no forge. 3 drones forced off the line. It could have been worse. At least it wasn't like, you know, 5 or 6 drones. But yeah, Shakti already getting in the ZergLord's head. Already getting value. Really well done. Also, the ZergLord may be a little bit scared of what Shakti can do, and oh boy, this game is getting underway, and I wonder if Shakti is going to continue to do more of the same or go into something more Skytoss dedicated, because it's Pride of Altaris. It's a very big map, it's a very large map. You can take advantage of it and go into a fleet beacon and go into carriers relatively quickly if you wish. We'll see as the first adept is across the map. First adept shouldn't do too much. There's only 2 links to defend, so it's a little bit scary. The ZergLord realizes this, makes 2 more lings or 4 more lings to come out and help deal with this adept. But again, it's only 1, so it shouldn't deal too much. If there were 2 or 3 here already, then things would be looking really scary, but the second one only just now joins. Now he's got the power to one-shot. Oh, but the lings come out just in time. I say just in time, but the adepts still get into the natural base. They just waddle in. And 4 drones get picked off for 2 adepts. Well worth it. Well worth it. Shakti, mate, he's got some momentum. He's ready to go. He's going for his oracles again. This man loves his oracles. But I just love the way that the ZergLord plays this out. Like, every single time, he's always got his queens. He's always got his spores. I say spores. There's only 1 spore. Like, he's ready for the oracle. For the most part, he moves out. And he exposes his natural. Shakti, he's just finding the damage. He's doing it. 2 drones, backs off. Doesn't even take that much damage. Now the second oracle's gonna show up, third oracle's on the way. This is all scattered again. And just like the last 2 games, we see Shakti go straight into a robo. So I guess this is his go-to for this matchup. I guess this is just what he's comfortable with. And I'm a little bit concerned just because I feel like Shakti got lucky in game 2. Like, the map really helped him there. He's not gonna find... Oh my god, I was about to say he's not gonna find the same success here on Pride of Altaris, but despite that, he just finds a way in. The Spore was forced to re-burrow and 7 drones go down. And that was only with 2. Now a third Oracle is about to show up. Like, Shakti, this time he is crippling the economy. He's forcing the ZergLord to rebuild and waste all this larva on drones. Oh my god. Kind of best case scenario here for Shakti. Immortal production is starting. There's +1. Again, like, this seems very intentional that he prioritizes +1 over a Twilight Council and he delays Blink. I kind of don't like that he pushes out without Blink when he does so, but I mean, it's gotta work sometimes, right? That's why he does it. Oracles dive in. Will lose one of his oracles, but only loses 1. By this stage, last game, he would be down to 1 oracle. So already a great improvement here for Shakti. His Gateway Explosion is on the way. We should be seeing the Twilight Council soon. And Shakti, he's getting ready for his first push. Oh boy, that's a lot of gates. 6 gates. Jesus Christ. And there we go. Finally, after all those gates are done, then he throws down the Twilight Council. So this Twilight Council is for, like, step 2 of this push, I feel. Shakti's got a decent amount of sentries. He's going to be moving out with +1. War Prism is on the way as well. And the ZergLord, does he see this? He does have a couple of spotter links, so he will see the army moving out. He should be done droning by now. This is the other thing about Pride of Altaris. We have a gold base. Of course, the ZergLord, he just Maynard over. He doesn't need to drone, and he can focus on his army. The army is moving out now, but the ZergLord sees. Oh no, the Maynard! Okay, thankfully the drones are not intercepted. Got a decent amount of Ravagers, more Roaches are on the way. The ZergLord just needs a little bit more time, and Shakti is giving him that time. He doesn't commit. Behind this, he throws down the Robotics Bay, getting ready for his Colossus. And I like this. This time, Shakti sees the army, he respects the army, and he backs off. If you remember, in Berlingrad, he was a little bit overeager and he committed anyway, and he lost almost everything. He lost his immortals, he lost all his sentries, and it made his follow-up push that much weaker. But now he backs off, and from what I can tell, it looks like he wants to wait for Blink. He should wait for Blink, to be honest. Oh god. Be careful, Puppy, be careful. The ZergLord going for a bit of a run by. Oh, I love this. Forces Shakti back. The ZergLord regains map control. He's headed towards the the third base. And he's making this really awkward for Shakti. Like, the sentries are honestly a little bit exposed. The biles are connecting. Oh, only one connects in the end. Overcharges popped. The ZergLord. I don't know if this is really, you really want to fight. There we go. He does finally back off. But he didn't really find too much success here at all. And now Blink is finally done. Extended Thermal Lance on the way, which I don't know if it's the biggest of deals, but you know, it will definitely help out. But we only have one Colossus. Where's that War Prism? It's not here. The ZergLord, he pushes on forward, and yo, he's getting on top of the sentries. 2 sentries go down. 3 actually, Jesus. 4. Oh god, the biles connect as well. And that is all the ZergLord wanted. He knew that he couldn't necessarily end the game here, but picking up all those sentries, oh my god, the value. Here we go, once again he's trying to split up the army. And for the most part he's succeeding. Again, forces the army to respond on the right, but the Roaches win the battle on the left, and now they're getting on top of the Nexus. Like, the ZergLord, he can afford to lose this Roach Ravager army, especially if he does get a kill here. Now we just see the ZergLord, his rally, he trickles in a little bit too much, but he gets the Nexus. He keeps Shakti on 3 bases. Meanwhile, the ZergLord is on 4, and the 4th is a gold. Oh my god. And he's kind of forcing Shakti's hand, and the problem is that, again, the ZergLord is ready to receive. This time, I don't think there is a Spire, so he's not going to be tempted to take up and go into a greater Spire. But like Ling Bane Roach Ravager right now, on a map like this that is so open in the center, like he can fight for days. Speaking of, Roach Speed is done, +2 is done as well, +1 range is on the way. It's interesting how the ZergLord does prioritize his melee upgrades. Ooh, decent blinks. Picks off a couple of Ravagers. Oh, but again, this area is so wide open. The ZergLord, he's maxed out. He crashes on forward. The Banelings do connect with some of those sentries. These are going to be the final force fields. Biles land as well, and they take out the War Prism. No more reinforcements. And again, Shakti just doesn't have enough momentum. He just can't keep pushing. And where's the 4th? He needs one. If this game goes on longer. Finally he's going to take it, but this is so late. I would almost want him to take the gold at this point. Or double expand. Oh, God. He does have a lot of Colossus. And this is where I have to be a little bit critical of the ZergLord. Like, mate, Infestation Pit, Hive, Vipers. Those would be game changers right now. But the ZergLord, he's kind of tunnel visioning on this Lair army. And to be fair, he's finding success with it, but he could be having a much easier time if he did have something like a Hive to work with. Shakti, he backs off. He gets a 4th base. We have a Spire and Infestation Pit. Finally, we have some tech, but this could have been thrown down a while ago. The ZergLord definitely could have teched up earlier. And now we have 2 maxed out armies, and I'm getting some flashbacks to Berlingrad. Some, not all, but some. Where Shakti's army is honestly looking really scary. And the ZergLord's not as much. He has the power to remax, to be fair. He has a lot of minerals. He has a pretty big bank. Boy, but he's having a hard time. We have a bit of a bailing run by, but honestly, he's not going to find too much damage. The mineral line was already pulled earlier. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, now he's heading towards the fourth. Drones, please. Probes, please. Ugh. The bailings will connect. Oh my god, 12 plus probes go down. 27 probes go down. At the same time, the fight is finally happening. Shakti is trying to break through the Zerg, and it looks like he will push through. But we have 28 roaches on the way. The ZergLord just has to wait for reinforcements. Oh god, he has to be so careful, so careful with how he fights this. He's got to stutter step as best he can, but the army blinks on forward. The Biles are gonna miss. They do not connect. But roaches are coming out. They have to be careful of the rally. Oh my god, Shakti, he's pretty dedicated with this, especially after losing all those workers. Boys are being pulled. In comes the Roach Ravager. Is it going to be enough? He's trying to get on top of the Colossus. But the Blinks. Oh my god. The Blink Stalkers, they may just be too much. It looks like they are. Once again, Shakti gets across the map. GG gets called. He loses all his probes, but it doesn't matter, mate. It's not about the probes. Shakti takes the series and he will move on to the grand finals. Wow. GG. The ZergLord, once again, he was fighting really well for the first, like, maybe 3/4 of that game. But at a certain point, Roach Ravager falls off. It's like, at a certain point, it's like, mate, up against Groundtusk, we either need some higher tech, like Vipers, or we need to see, like, a transition into, like, Lurkers, you know? We need to see something else. You can't be stuck with Lingbane Roach Ravager like this. And as we saw, it took a long time for the ZergLord to throw down a Spire and to throw down an Infestation Pit. And I'm not even saying that a Spire would have been good, to be honest, but like the Infestation Pit was so late. He was just tunnel visioning a little bit too much. I think he was seeing success with his plays, and he was finding a lot of damage. He was, remember, when he killed the 4th base, I was like, mate, this is it. It's over. But Shakti, he held on to his 3rd. He defended for long enough, and wow, GG.